Announcements, and we have a report and presentation from the DeKalb County water billing update. Stefan Jaskalak, is that right? Perfect. All right. You have a remote, there you go. All right.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, council members, appreciate the opportunity to come here before you and speak about our water service billing update. I do want to start with apologizing for 2 weeks ago. We had a cold snap and subsequently a battery died and we could not make it. I apologize for that. But in the interest of time, I will give you a high-level overview as to where we've been, where we are now, and where we plan to go. A lot of the issues become very visible with customer phone calls not being answered, people not being able to get through, getting busy signals, or calls being dropped. Hold times were excessively long, and that basically meant that we could not receive customers' concerns. If people cannot get through on the phone, they come down to our annex, our area, the Maloof building in downtown Decatur, which is also very congested.
Yes.
High water bills are an issue. We recognize that. And I also believe that customers would like additional information from the county regarding their water bills, regarding their consumption, but also regarding leaks and possible billing errors on our side. First step we took was to increase our staff in the call center. Okay? We increased it from 20 to 55. That way we are able to receive your calls. We now have new service level agreements. We have trained people. We are continuing to train people. A lot of the calls right now are being answered very quickly. Sometimes that does mean that we need to take a message as to what the concern is and turn that over to a research group. This graph here will show you exactly what happened. For most of the year, you will see on the total calls, which is the green line, is very high. And then the blue line, which is the abandonment rate. That means people hanging up in the queue because our wait times were too long. Towards the end of October, we went from the 20 to 55 people, and what you see is our performance, our abandonment rate, so people hanging up because the wait was too long, went to almost zero. Our call volume went up, which means that we were able to answer more calls, and we did answer more calls. The second graph, this graph here, shows you our average speed of answer, which is actually the green line in this case. And you can see that, and that's in percentages, actually in seconds, I'm sorry. You can see that it went all the way to the top in September, and then November it is down to, if I have to guess, I would say 15, 20, 30 seconds. At the same time, the other line went up to an area where it needs to be. So we have addressed that part of the issue. In September, we instituted a temporary moratorium on water disconnections as part of the concern of increased water bills. We went through our database and identified about 5,600 residents countywide with bills that averaged more than double their normal average. And we took the 1 year, kicked out the high, kicked out the low. If you were more than double that, we put you in that 5,600 customer category. So far, we have researched about 93%. And we plan to finish this by December 15th, which is in 2 weeks. And then any variances, any root cause will be communicated back to those 5,600 customers. And that could be leaks, but it could also be irrigation usage or just inaccurate meters or estimated bills, which is on our side. Consumption reports. As part of our outreach, we have sent all 180,000 customers consumption reports. That is currently not part of the regular bill design. I know a lot of other water jurisdictions do have a graph on their bill. We don't have that yet. Proactively, we sent this to everyone, and it includes a history of everybody's usage for 18 months. So people can see year over year, summer over summer, winter over winter, what the usage has been. We do plan to add this to our bills in the first quarter of next year. So it'll be a standard feature. This is what the consumption graph individually looks like. This is a graph for somebody who's on a monthly billing cycle. Most people in the county are on a bi-monthly billing cycle, so that means that every other month there is no bill, right? And that would mean that it would show zero consumption in the month when there is no bill, because it's on a bi-monthly cycle. Onboarding Veolia, we have the county watershed department has engaged Veolia. That is a very internationally recognized water company. They are helping the watershed department go through our processes, procedures, efficiencies, etc. They are now also helping us in the call center to help manage customer interaction and expectations. We are redesigning our interactive voice response system to reduce wait times and to serve the customers better. We are also integrating our softwares better so that our customer service representatives can pull up the customer's information quicker. And of course, we are redesigning our internal, our bill, and also providing customers with a portal where you can pull up your bill going forward. That will be 2015. 60 satellite payment locations. We used to have only one payment location where people could walk in and make a payment. That is in downtown Decatur. Bless you. Very congested, a small parking lot. But we now also have the ability to take your water payments at Kroger's, Citgo's, Walmart's. There's about 60 satellite locations around the county. And locations can be found on our website, and we also have trifold brochures that we have available for clients. Town hall presentations as part of our outreach. We are available for any town hall presentation, any meetings, provide information, also such as tonight. We plan to ramp up communications even further, in addition to the consumption graphs that we have sent out, in addition to redesigned bill. We also are updating our list of FAQs, and we will also provide more information as our research continues. So what really are the next steps? So far, I've kind of told you what we've done so far, but we're not there yet. We're far from there. We are continuing our staff training. Okay. I mentioned earlier, sometimes if a new person answers the phone, they will need to refer the customer over to a research group. The plan is to resolve that on first touch. And we are also establishing performance metrics, similar to the graphs, but also down to an individual level, just to make sure we stay on top of it. Communication, we have the satellite payments. We're doing the bill redesign. We will continue our customer outreach, website updates, help with water conservation tips, and also with leak detection. On the operations side, we are looking into our hours of operation. Right now it is from 8:30 to 5, which means that most people will have to contact us during work hours. We'd like to see if there is an appetite for the ability to do that after work hours or before work hours. Reduce repetitive monthly or bi-monthly bill estimates. There are too many bills being estimated, and that is a result of water meter reading issues. Bill estimates typically catch up one way or the other. If you estimate it for 1 month, the next month you might have a catch up because estimates are never right. Okay. Quality control of full billing cycle, I think that is the most important part, because that really gets us from beginning to end, from the meter reading, making sure that that is done accurate for all different meters. We have radio meters, we have touch meters, we have visual meters. There's a lot of different types of meters. We need to make sure that that gets more and more accurate so that it winds up in the system accurately, and that the bill audit and then subsequent bill sent to customers is accurate.
Questions?
Questions?
I was one of the victims of estimate billing. I have two meters, I have an irrigation meter and a regular meter. My irrigation meter was anywhere from $200 to $400 a billing cycle during a period when my irrigation system was broken, but not leaking, but just not working, so I wasn't using it. And so I was paying these $200 and $400 bills, and then I guess my last bill that came after all the hullabaloo about this, my bill was $6. So kind of what Mr. McKechnie said, is there a way to go back and recapture that money? Because it seems like, you talked about y'all doubled your call center staff, and
Right.
you're doing all kinds of things to increase customer service. Was there no relation to the actual bills being charged to the actual services being provided? Because it would seem that if you're charging these exorbitant bills and getting horrible to no customer service and no service from that end, that you got all this extra money because you weren't doing anything about customer service. You weren't paying the extra 30 staffers. So what I'm trying to figure out, is there a plan to reimburse people or to fix the wrongs that you just started talking about with the estimated billing? I mean, I was overcharged. How do I get my money back?
That's a good question, because the longer you wait with disputing the bill itself, it's very difficult to go back in time.
Well, I
and-
disputed them every time, but how do you dispute? They reduce it sometimes, but not based on any reality, just because you're basically the goodwill of the call operator.
Well, one procedure that we do have is if there is a leak and it is fixed by a plumber, and that invoice is shown, we will adjust at least two
Right.
billing cycles.
Yeah, and I get that.
And help the customers out with that.
Right, and I understand that. And I appreciate you coming here, I really do, because this has been a very frustrating issue, not just for me, but for lots of citizens who have been emailing me about their billing issues. And
Absolutely.
And they're still getting cut notices. I know that I saw the moratorium expired October 15th, but I had some resident emailed me just yesterday with a $700 bill, and they got a cut notice, and their bill hadn't been resolved. So these are the types of issues that are the most irritating, is when you're taking money out of people's pockets and you're not proving to them that's the amount they owe. As a matter of fact, you're saying that's not what you owe because you have an estimated bill. I'm going to get questions about this, and I have a question about it, is how do we make right what was done so wrongly for the past year or two? Is there any plan, or is it just you get to keep all that money you overcharged and never give it back? And
Well, no, I mean, there is, what do you call it, the burden of proof. If there is a leak and it's identified.
no
and-
leak.
No, but
Not talking about a leak situation at all. I'm talking about estimated bill situation.
estimated bills, there is a beginning reading somewhere. There was estimate for a number of billing cycles, and then there's an ending read, and that can be analyzed and calculated, because the beginning and end point of one reading versus another, you can calculate that difference. And if there is a refund due, of course.
All right. So is there a special way to get that done, to calculate the end? And I mean, your meter doesn't go up to 1 million and reset. It resets,
No, they
it resets every month, right?
Yeah, we are,
So how do you go back and have read when you were
Well-
overcharged?
we're looking to engage someone to do a meter audit to make sure that the meters are accurate and functioning properly. In some cases, that'll mean that the meter will be changed out. In some cases, it means that the meter is accurate.
Mine are new meters.
And I hope that they're functioning.
I'm sure they are,
Yeah.
but nobody was reading them. That's the point. I was getting estimated.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to keep grilling you about it, but do you understand my problem and question, that it's not just me
No,
that has that issue? My
I
bill
don't-
every month said estimated bill. And
that's something that I'm looking into
but when
really
they started
stopping.
reading my
First-
meter, it went to $6.
Yeah. That's probably the normal connection charge, the $6, with no usage,
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, could be, yeah,
or next to no usage.
right. And I didn't use it before then. All right, I'll get to let you off the hook for right now.
No, I will email you.
Okay.
And we will look into your bill, and it will calculate it. I mean, if there
Right.
is an overcharge because of estimates, we will adjust
If you
that
could
and
please do that.
and work on that, of course.
And everybody else who's having an issue, not just for me, but,
And I have forms, sorry, not to interrupt you. I have forms here with me. I will wait a few minutes, and if anybody in the audience would like to fill one out, there will be a research form,
okay,
so that we have the address, the name, the information, and I can put that in the works.
thank you.
Can you leave a
Absolutely.
copy of that with our clerk here, so we will have a record of how
Absolutely.
people want to request it through us, we can forward it at
Sure,
least?
absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. If you had made the statement that, okay, you'll do an estimate, and then the second month, do a meter read,
Right.
is that the longest period of time there is between meter reads?
Well, the county is divided up into 36 books or zones. And 2 of the zones are on a monthly cycle. The other 34 zones are on a bi-monthly cycle, so it's read just about every 60
Okay.
days, give or take.
So if a person has a $700 bill that they're claiming is an error, within 60 days, it should be whatever it really is because you're doing a meter read on the outside parameters.
It should be.
Okay.
It should be.
So do you have a policy that says you cannot issue a disconnect unless you have a valid meter read to validate that that is a correct charge? And because somebody gets a $7 bill, $700 bill, they're complaining that this is not right,
Of course,
but yet they get a disconnect notice.
right.
There's something there that's just doesn't, it's not working right.
And they shouldn't, and they're having to call me to say, what can we do about this? And then I'm forwarding to the commissioners, and the commissioners are having, I mean,
I've seen a number.
So- so-
They usually wind up with me.
So really, the question is,
Actually.
at what point do you move to disconnect? You have to have a, what is it?
If there is no communication from the customer, nobody calling in and saying, my water bill is incorrect, we need to do something, what can we do? We will issue, if they do call, we will issue a request to reread, make sure the reading itself was accurate. We will discuss investigation for possible leak. So anything up to and including the meter is the county's. Anything after the meter, any leak is for the resident. And we will discuss that and then stay or extend the time for cut pending that dialogue and that investigation.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, that sounds fair. At least you have an open
I'm still getting
attitude.
people, the Kramers over in Ashford Park emailed me. They got a cut notice with the $700 bill, and they had estimates, and, you know, they're gonna get cut today. I mean, it took an email to the commissioners, you know.
I saw the email today.
I know y'all are, you are under duress with all this. issues.
I want to fix this,
Well, thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's apparent, and we appreciate you being here. What is your success rate in addressing the high number, apparently, of people that have been complaining about this?
Well,
I mean, I see your call ratios going up and
Right.
everything, but what is your success rate in actually resolving the issue?
it's pretty high. The problem is, right now, we're doing it on an ad hoc, one-by-one basis. Part of my approach is to address the questions and the concerns from the citizens, but at the same time, fix the system in the process, so that we reduce the number of issues, questions, and errors going forward. I think that's very important, because if the only thing I do is answer people's questions, I will continue to do that until I retire. I want to get to a point where people don't have to call,
Yes.
where there are no issues, or very few. There'll never be any no issues, because we have 180,000 customers. But I want to reduce that and work with people as best we can, and also provide tools, self-help, investigation, FAQs, and really make it such that it becomes a non-issue.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the audience for the gentleman? Terrell?
If 90% of the 5,600 plus has been reviewed, what was the outcome?
We have,
I'm going to repeat the question so people watching this on stream can hear it. If 93% of the 5,600 people were
reviewed.
were reviewed.
What was the outcome?
What was the outcome? Right, thank you.
I don't have the exact statistics, and we're almost done. We'll be done by December 15th. And by that point, we'll also start sending letters to all 5,600 as to what the outcome is. Meanwhile, we've had dialogue, I hope, on most or all. There are a couple different categories. Leaks was a fair percentage of it. Customer leaks that didn't realize it, or consumption, or sprinklers going off at 4 a.m. when everyone's asleep, and you don't notice that. I mean, I wouldn't notice that. There are also issues with the estimates. There's a fair percentage of that. And just misreads. And I don't know if that's as simple as upgrading the meter or getting somebody glasses. I don't know. I mean, it depends on which meter it is and which zone it is, of course. And that's where I'm getting also with my quality control, where I want to get the meter reading and the billing upload to the point where it's seamless and accurate. Because if it goes inaccurately, your bill will be accurate.
Can you give us your contact info,
Absolutely.
just for the record?
Oh, my phone number is 404-371-2765. My email address, it's a little bit long-winded, sjaskulak@DeKalbCountyGA.gov.
JSKULAK?
Correct.
Okay. And then, can you make this presentation you did, can you
It's
forward
on-
us?
Absolutely.
Can we post it on our Facebook and on our website? Thank you. All right.
I do want to make one quick comment. I commend you for taking the steps that you outlined here. I think those are
Thank
some
you.
very positive moves that your department is taking. I certainly hope that you continue to follow up with these things and keep those staffing levels at a level that addresses the customer service problems. The one thing I would disagree with is that you mentioned the firm you are bringing in to address some automation of your telephone system, Valerio or?
Veolia?
Yeah. I would simply give my 2 cents that automated customer service response systems are while they might seem very efficient, very annoying to customers calling specifically when they have complaints to make. And that live operator really does do a job if you can somehow keep that personal interaction in a time
I
where
think
where
that-
you get where high touch sensitivity in your department is under the microscope.
I thought they
keep
were
that
there
going.
to help improve that one aspect of your customer service, and then they were talking about other things too, were they not?
Right.
They're not an automated customer service company, they just.
No, right.
Well,
right.
one of the things that you
Right.
said that they were working on, or did I misunderstand?
Well-
They were working on that one aspect to try to make it better, because they're going to have automated response no matter what.
Right,
Maybe
because
not.
when you call, there is a decision tree, press
Yeah.
1 for option A,
Billing.
and
Right.
it keeps.
Hopefully
I say eliminate that. Hopefully they
Well,
will.
hopefully the decision tree will be press 1 for an operator immediately. That would help.
We're trying to shorten it up to the point where you will get an operator quicker.
Yeah.
But also, to give you an example, when we were not able to answer all the calls and you would get a busy signal.
Right.
There is a way to pay the phone, to pay your bill on the phone, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot get through on the phone line, you cannot get into that part of the automated payment system, which then creates an issue where people cannot pay their bill, then it gets cut notices, or it requires a trip to downtown Decatur, which shouldn't be necessary either. So we've
Yeah.
fixed all of that. We're trying to, it's like peeling back the layers on the onion and really getting down to the core of it. Improved customer service will mean that the decision tree will be shorter and you will get to where you want to go quicker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're running about a 3% complaint rate now, of 5,600 on 180,000 customers. That's what you said, right? You have 5,600 complaints?
No. The audit, we looked at all the people in all 180,000 and kicked out everybody's high bill and low bill for 1 year. So that means we have basically four bills left. If your bill at that point, when we took that average, was more than double your average bill, you were part of the 5,600. If it is a normal seasonal, because it was right at the end of the summer, so you would have more watering, more consumption. If you're within line, you would not be part of that 5,600. Doesn't mean you wouldn't have a complaint or a question
I got
or
you.
an issue, but at least we wanted to address those that were more than double, and there were people in the 500% category. Most of those were leaks, right? Because it's undetected under driveways or under trees, you wouldn't detect that. So that's where the 5,600 came from.
I got you.
Anybody else? Thank you very much. We
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just, bosses, we appreciate you.